I left my 9 to 5 3 years ago in marketing to get into the world of remote sales and haven't looked back since. That being said, last week it hit me how much of a disadvantage I am as a female, as a woman, especially in the online remote sales coaching space. And I know you've probably seen other remote sales coaches and they are quite boisterous. They are like very matter of fact, this is what you need to do, this is how much money you can make. And I understand that that is a pull from sales. But as someone that never thought that they would be working in sales in their life and now has helped over 30 girls land remote sales roles, I wouldn't say it's the approach that I like to use. I think that being a woman, I have naturally played to my strengths over the last 3 years, building connections, networking, making sure that I actually befriend a client. I'm not just on there for a quick and easy buck. I'm literally helping to grow their team. I'm working within their pipeline. All of the girls that have joined my community and I'm supporting into remote work know that they can rely on me wherever. And that's probably where my empathetic side is really a strength in remote sales, because everyone that I work with is part of my network, and I would say that I would never want to disappoint anyone within that said network. The reason that I've got bee in my bonnet is because I challenged a guy that had joined the team I was working on last week. Rather than actually communicating effectively and understanding what the problem was and resolving this, he asked me if I had any experience DM setting. Obviously, I've got to be in my bonnet because this guy follows me on Instagram. He knows that I've helped over 30 girls land these remote roles, and I'm just not taking it. You know that I'm calling you out for good reason. It's just made me think, I cannot believe that, one, you feel like you can speak to someone like that who's working in a business and contributing positively to your revenue share, but also the fact that he 100% wouldn't have said that if I was a guy. And then it got me thinking about all of the other instances where I may have made suggestions about what a team could be doing, how an online business should be structured. And it falls on deaf ears, especially when like a sales bro comes in and says, oh, well, I've done this system, I'm sure it will work, without actually having spent any time in the business. I've spoken about it before on this channel that I do believe that an appointment setter is the best hire for any business, because it's essentially front of house. They get to know your audience, they get to know what content's working, they can really feed back around like what sort of reviews you can expect to come in. Let's say if you were, let's think of it as a restaurant, because I used to be a host, and it's not too dissimilar. You're genuinely there to be the eyes, the ears, everything on the ground for that business owner. You know it inside and out. My auntie and uncle, they used to own restaurants, and my auntie was the front of house. She knew everyone, she knew everything, she knew exactly what the business needed to be doing to be successful. And then obviously my uncle, he had all the ingredients to put on a show. He knew exactly what he needed to be doing to get that delivery, to get those reviews in. And what you're essentially doing is you're working as a restaurant with your client. So you've got your client who is the chef, they're putting together all the ingredients, they're delivering amazing results. Whereas you're the front of house, and this is why they should be your first hire. But I'll go into that in more detail. Let's go back to the gender issue here. So I would never say, like, I'm so fortunate and so privileged where this hasn't come up previously, but it is looking back in retrospect of like how I could have potentially been at a disadvantage being a female in this space. And it is sort of like, okay, well, people definitely do try and walk all over me, and this is something that I'm at my wit's end now. I'm putting my foot down and it's not happening anymore. But as a woman, I do lead with instinct over ego. I don't just onboard clients and say like, yes, this is exactly how I'm going to be performing each day. These are the targets I'm going to be working to. Unless they have a structure and they've previously worked with an appointment setter and this is the targets that they were reaching, happy to take those on board. But I need to immerse myself onto the account. I need to get to know the flow. I need to get to know the pipeline. And then I can set accurate targets and we can actually deliver those results. Like I say, every sales bro seems happy to come in, just like snap a few numbers out of thin air and then overpromise and underdeliver. I mentioned empathy before, but I'd say a feminine approach to appointment setting definitely leans on empathy. In any sales space, like, an empathetic approach is honestly a winning ticket, because you are talking to these leads and you're actually understanding the problem before they've even directly told you, and you're able to position a solution in there as well. So it's really about being able to drive that conversation and lead it. That being said, as an empath, I do expect others to treat me as I treat them, and I'd say that that is something that I'm trying to get used to, and I guess protect myself by putting some boundaries in place. Next, I would say that women are better at forecasting. Like, when you think about it, shopping is a feminine sport. Meaning we're used to being on the other side of a buying process, so we're used to being the buyer. And what appointment setters need to be doing is they need to be bridging that gap between the point of curiosity and conversion. Why should that person be so motivated to buy that product or service that you are interested in selling? With any sales role, you need to be understanding that buyer behaviour to actually lead the lead from that point where they're like just window shopping to the point when they actually get to that till. Just positioning them perfectly to bridge that gap. I said it before and I'll say it again, but I am wired to put my clients' needs first. This isn't because I'm a pushover, this is actually because I care about the result, and I would never want to feel like I'm letting anyone down by not contributing to a positive result. In my experience, men are also way more comfortable claiming numbers that aren't there. You've probably seen it in the bios of these sales pros where they say that they've made millions in revenue, when ultimately they could join a business that's doing like 2 billion in revenue and they brought it down to 1.5 million, but they have generated 1.5 mil in their bio. Sales systems, they're able to claim so much revenue because they like to pretend they're taking ownership of every single part. So even for my role, the reason that I have had to work directly with these people that offer the sales systems is because they like to manage exactly what I'm doing when really they're not immersing themselves into the business or providing any certain strategy. Even though I'm angry that this gap exists, and more so at the recent events that have made me aware of it, I do think it's something that I can utilise to my advantage and to the advantage of every girl that works with me, because I just believe that as females, or like with a feminine approach, you are able to understand a client's business, their needs so much better. Working as one of the primary hires for a sales business, you want to be having that really strong relationship with your client where they can depend on you for anything. You also want to have that front of house aura where you know exactly what's going on. You're able to give your client eyes on the ground and yeah, just completely smash it. Moving forward, I feel really positive about when I'm talking with online business owners and telling them about like how we can get a female trained setter into their business who leads with empathy, what their reliability has a setter brings to the table, because I know exactly what these sleazy sales guys are probably saying in the background as well. So if you are an online business owner that is trying to scale but you're running out of time, you don't feel like you're getting to those qualified leads, or you don't even have time to engage with any leads that you do have, then definitely reach out to me today. Let's have a 10-minute chat and we can talk about a bit of a roadmap for what this could look like for you, how you could get someone to be that front of house that you deserve, and ultimately get you the results that you're working towards. So just drop me a message or book in a time in my Calendly below. So that you are following along if you're looking to get into the world of remote work, or you just want some more tips for what this could look like as an online business owner.